If you only had 90 days, could you become a web developer? I think you could, and this is a guide on how I do it. If you're new here, hi, my name's Zoe. I'm a software engineer and former university professor that loves teaching folks how to code. In this video, I'll show you how I'd learn to code if I only had 90 days to become a web developer. Let's hop into it. First things first, good, fast, and cheap. Pick two. If you want to become a good web developer fast, it's probably not going to be free. So first things first, if you really only have 90 days, I'd recommend that you pick a bootcamp to enroll in. There are tons of options available both online and in person, depending on which city you live in the world. Personally, I choose to do an online bootcamp just because it's much more convenient and I can use that commuting time to continue learning. But if you find that in-person learning works better for you, then more power to you. When you're looking for a bootcamp, you want one that either aligns with your timeline or doesn't have a fixed start date. If you do go for the option without a fixed start date, make sure you're able to motivate yourself to stick to your timeline, as these kinds of bootcamps are usually self-driven and self-directed. Essentially, there is no real instructor. But since the start date is flexible, you will be able to get started right away. In this scenario, I'd recommend trying to get some outside support, either through YouTube, an online coding community, or a mentor who can help guide you through what you're learning. As you begin to code, you'll inevitably have questions that are unique to your project and your coding setup. So having someone who can quickly redirect you will be key to staying on track with your 90-day timeline. But what about costs? How much should a bootcamp cost and how should I pay? There are various models that bootcamps use for payment and a range of prices you can pay depending on the type of bootcamp you go with. You're going to pay between $8,000 and $16,000 for a full-day bootcamp that's either in person or online. These can be really effective, but as you can see, they're also very, very expensive. Some bootcamps allow you to defer payment until after you get a job, but read the fine print, because this might end up costing you much, much more than you'd think. On the other hand, a self-paced bootcamp should be much, much cheaper, more in the $100 to $1,000 range. Because there are few, if any, dedicated instructors who are hosting calls and checking in to monitor your progress. In an ideal world, bootcamps like this would have some sort of forum or community where current students could ask questions and work through problems together. Depending on your style of learning and your budget, one of these options might be better suited to you than another. Personally, if I had the money, the time, and I didn't have to work, I'd go for a full-day bootcamp and pay up front. But realistically, I don't have and wouldn't have the kind of cash to spend on that kind of bootcamp. So more realistically, the option that I would have gone for when I was starting to learn how to code is the self-paced bootcamp option, since I know from experience that I can motivate myself to learn what's necessary. So we decided on a self-paced bootcamp, ideally with some sort of mentor or community that can support us as we learn. But how do we actually get the job? Because we only have 90 days, right? From day one, you want to start thinking about coding towards your portfolio. If you have one, ask your mentor for suggestions of what 2 to 3 projects you could build as you learn that would help show off your newfound skills. If I was your mentor, I'd recommend that you work on at least one project where you have to show off that you know how to work with an API, at least one that shows off an impressive and responsive design for both mobile and desktop devices, and at least one that displays your skills with routing, like an e-commerce site. And in an ideal world, you'd want to be doing more than one of these in each of your portfolio projects. You'll also want to start practicing your technical interview skills, because there are certain things that you want to do during a technical interview, like clearly and concisely explain your decisions and choices, that would benefit a lot from practice. Again, if you have a mentor or a community of software engineers to reach out to help you practice, definitely go down that route, as they should be able to give you real-time actionable feedback. If you're saying to yourself, I don't have a mentor, I don't have a community, and I can't afford an expensive bootcamp, I hear you. I've been there. When I was learning to code, I was pretty much in the exact same situation, and it took me months to learn what I really could have learned in days or weeks. That's why I created my bootcamp, to bridge that gap between those who had a lot of money and not much time to those who needed to figure out how to code really quickly and really effectively. The bootcamp costs less than 1% of the price of an in-person bootcamp, and it comes with a community. You can even add on mentorship if that's something that you really think you need. So, if you're interested in learning how to code well, check out that first link in the description below, and I'll see you guys in the next one.